Hey there everyone, and welcome back to the channel. We're here for the first round of the N5 season here at Suzuka in the RX-7. So coming into quali, I had a really positive mindset, really confident coming into quali because I knew I had the pace to do really well. So starting the lap here at Suzuka, it's quite a long pitch straight. Starting the lap, you want to be all the way to the left hand side in 4th gear. Making sure you maximise all the track, revving out 4th gear, because as soon as you get into 5th in these cars, for some reason it just bogs and you don't have much grip. Braking around the 75m board, really using the brakes to get the car turned in. 4th gear, 3rd gear on the apex, really keep the car tight and get as good a launch coming out of turn 2 as you can, using all the track on the exit of course. Coming in to the first of the S's, uphill S is very famous. You want to keep the car pinned with the throttle but lift off as well, not quite flat in these cars. Coming through the second S, same again, and into the third, really just want to maximise that curb on the inside, use as much throttle as you can, don't try and slide too much. As you can see, we do make that mistake here. Coming into the run through Dunlop, you just want to, use the throttle to get the car turned and then flat out in the apex. Same for Dunlop, really lift going in and then flat as soon as you hit the apex. This run into Degner 1, Degner 1, really tricky in these cars to get right, and braking just before the 50 board, you can see we brake a little bit too late in 3rd gear, run a little bit wide, does cost us quite a bit, and we do in quite hot for Degner 2, which we try to get the power down and we just can't maximise the exit, use a bit too much of the track on the outside and just cost us a lot of time on the exit. Coming into the hairpin, leaving it in 3rd gear, braking at the start of the curb. Coming into the hairpin, 2nd gear, really making sure you stay tight and get as good as launch as you can, for making sure you get a lot of speed for this long run into Spoon. Staying tight through Spoon, making sure you make as short a distance as possible of the circuit. Don't want to be too wide, otherwise you just losing time for nothing really. Coming into Spoon, braking at that concrete there, down into 3rd gear, really trail braking in, try not to slide too much, but you see we run wide, get on the AstroTurf, which is really lethal at Suzuka, and we get a massive tank slapper. Luckily managed to hold it, and did cost us, I'd say, easily about a second on our lap. So it's just a banker, so no pressure really, just need to make sure I can maximise the next lap. At this point, honestly, I really needed a wee, and I don't know whether or not to compromise my quali and go for a wee, or just try and get that pole position. But we're finishing the lap now into the bus stop chicane again, going in really deep, really just a scruffy banker lap, having to compromise the exit. So coming into the final corner, just didn't maximise the lap as much as we could, and you can see Cornelius caught up to us. So we do a 19.9, really not the best. My optimal was about an 18.8. So we come in, we pit for new tyres, and you can see it is really marginal on who's going to make it or not for quali. So we've got a minute and a half left coming through the Degners. It's going to be cutting it really tight. Might not even get another lap in. You can see we also catch up Boomer quite a lot on our lap, which just isn't ideal. Yeah, it was a bit of a tow, but when he's in 8th place, I just really didn't want traffic. So you can see we are 4 tenths down on Willis's time of a 19.5. He also knows he can improve on that as well. So coming into turn 1, just trying to really maximise the lap as much as we can, make the most out of it, but also not bottle it, because it was crucial I get this pole position. And Boomer just completely unlucky, sends himself to another dimension there. Big mistake there. Cablo going with a 22.8. It's currently in 3rd position, which isn't actually too bad. I would have been reasonably happy with this, but I really wanted that pole position just to, get the lead, control the pace, and go from the start. That really is my strategy when I get pole position. You can see we're a 10th, nearly 2 tenths down in that first sector, so not ideal, but I know where I can gain the time, and I know where I bottled it, which was that last sector of Spoon, 130R and the bus stop chicane. Coming into Degner 1, do take that rather nicely, a lot better than before, and Degner 2 using the curb and getting a nice exit other than before. So you can see we're only now about half a tenth down, so we do gain a bit of it back through that middle sector. Coming into the hairpin, again, same again, 2nd gear, keep it tight, get on the power as soon as you're straight, slam the power down, and hopefully your throttle doesn't mug you off like it did me. That wouldn't be ideal. So this has felt like a pretty tidy lap so far. Obviously I could go a bit quicker, but just really wanted to not bottle it before I get to the massive time makeup. So I brake a little bit early, a bit cautiously, coming into Spoon, just make sure I don't run wide, use a bit of the curb and just get the car rotated nicely. So a lot of time gained there, which obviously did feel really good. Spoon felt a lot better. So we'll see how much we are up on our time, perhaps even purple. Coming into this sector time, you can see a 10th up in the middle sector. Coming to the timeline, are we purple? We are purple by 2 and a bit tenth coming into the last thing. So I just knew if I had a tidy bust up, I'd be on pole position. So just braking just before the 100 wheel down into second gear, really using the engine braking, trail braking over the curb, over the second curb, slamming the throttle down, using the curb on the inside to hook the car up nicely. Shortest run to the line, keeping it tight to the inside. Shortest run to the line. Is it going to be pole position? It's a 19.3 dead, which is going to be good enough for pole position, which is more than happy. So coming into the race, first race, pole position, prime position to win the race, which was obviously the plan to do that. So you can see it is myself, followed by Cornelius, followed by Throne, Blue Mosquito, Pornage and Jack Tritton, running out the top 6. I'd say most of us really do have a good shot of winning the race. Anyone in the top 6, give the win a little rub there. Traction control for the start, because these things just slide. Decent start, probably could have come out traction control a little bit early, but you can see Cornelius gets a bit of a mediocre start compared to us, so it is going to be a straightforward run into turn 1, no need to battle just yet. So this first lap, me and Cornelius obviously good friends, 1 and 2, we are pretty chuffed with that, and Trit obviously trying to come through the field after what was a disappointing qualifying for him, but obviously not too bad. He only had about 10 minutes of practice. But yeah, me and Cornelius really just trying to work together in this early stage of the race. No need to fight. He knows I'm a little bit quicker. Obviously, he is very quick himself. Otherwise, he wouldn't be in second position. But we just really wanted to get a reasonable gap to the guys behind. So when we did realise we needed to start fuel saving, we could do that pretty comfortably. And obviously, the guys behind are battling quite as well. You can see Blue Mosquito up into 3rd position, overtaken from Trit, obviously into 5th as well. Mr. Grumpy with an amazing start, as well as Boomer. Those two to look out for, as well as Pontus the Swede there in 8th position. Coming through Degna 2, me and Cornelius really just pushing ourselves, and you can see Blue Mosquito is lurking in the background there, just really keeping us honest all race, to be completely fair, and really just aiming ourselves at the apex for the hairpin. Don't want to send myself to the shadow round whatsoever. Same with Cornelius. It really was just get our heads down and be consistent. Which we were for the most part, to be completely honest. Not many mistakes on my part, not many on Cornelius' part, so I'm really proud of him that he's managed to improve that well. Coming into Spoon, he's just given us a bit of a tap, making sure we stay ahead. He's obviously loving life in the slipstream, as you can hear perhaps on the party chat. He's using mode 3, mode 4, which if you don't play GT Sport are, you know, basically your equivalent of lean mix on F1. So he's in our tow, really just backing off, trying to maximise his slipstream so he can save a lot of fuel. And you can see we've gained about a second to Throne and Blue Mosquito, those two battling a little bit too hard on the opening lap. Trit and Mr. Tumble both getting a bit frustrated. So the end of the first lap, we managed to lead it. Me and Cornelius both really setting the pace well for the remainder of the race. Really just getting our heads down and pushing and getting away from the start. So, coming on to lap 3, coming on to lap 4, nothing really happened, to be honest. It was just same old bit of chat in the chat. So we're going to cut to a little bit of a battle that I noticed in the replay between Boomer, Grumpy, Simo and Trit. So coming through the S's, you can see Boomer is really catching on Grumpy there. Same with Simo, he's on the back of him as well. Grumpy with a 1 second penalty, a 9/10 penalty. They are going to be in a 3-car train. Grumpy really struggling, must have on the tyres there. And he is really sliding about, and you can see Boomer sliding about just to try to avoid him. And Grumpy really trying to bleed the penalty as well. But Boomer with an amazing run coming out of Dunlop. He's going to be side by side coming into the first Degner. Simo just getting a back seat, maybe trying to get a cutback. Is he going to push Grumpy through on the inside? No, he's not. Boomer on the outside, Grumpy on the inside. He goes for a cutback into Degner 2. He's got the nose in. Coming into Degner 2, he's going to be on the inside. Grumpy concedes. Is he going to stick on the outside? Yes, he does, because Boomer gets a bit of a slide. Grumpy on the outside coming into the hairpin. They're going to be side by side again coming into the hairpin, because Simo just found no way through. He is going to be struggling, but Grumpy gets ahead coming into the hairpin. Bit of ghosting going on, but no one really knowing what's going on. So Grumpy gets pushed wide a little bit there by Boomer and Simo, but he's going to keep it on the outside. Boomer up into 5th place. At the moment, you can see Trit there also getting his nose involved. This is a 4-way fight, 4P5 in this race. On lap 4, Boomer already to the inside to defend Spoon. Grumpy to the outside. He's going to go for it around the outside. It's going to be an audacious move, but he's going to go for it around the outside. Is he? No. Yes, he is. He's going to keep the foot in. Boomer gives him the space. Grumpy around the outside for the second part of Spoon. Is Trit and Simo going side by side? No, they're not going to go 2 by 2, but Grumpy still on the outside. Simo onto the gravel. This is going to allow Trit to get through. Is he? Yes. A little bit of contact between Simo and Trit there, but Grumpy and Boomer really still side by side coming into 130. It's going to be really tricky to go side by side through through this corner. Tritt just getting a front row seat to it all. They're going to go side by side. Boomer on the inside. Is he going to run him out? They're going to give him enough space. Grumby on the outside, using the track, and Boomer got pinched on the apex there, and this is going to allow Tritt up the inside into the bus stop chicane. He's going to control the corner. Boomer on the outside, just about managing to keep him at bay for the time being. Tritt sitting behind. This will allow Grumpy to get a bit away. Tritt in the slipstream though, coming onto the pit straight, starting lap 5 of 13. 13 laps in these races, of course, roughly equates to about half an hour. So 13 laps. Tritt is going to look to the inside into the first corner. He looks, it's going to be audacious to send it from that far back, but he sort of spooks Boomer into making a mistake. He goes a little bit wide, so Tritt's going to send it up the inside into turn 2. Boomer gives him the space on the outside, and he's going to be on the outside. Tritt giving him the space. Boomer's going to send it back up the inside for the second S. Tritt keeping it on the outside, and he's going to claim that 6th position there. And yeah, so this was a really entertaining fight. But we're going to cut back to ourselves. Lap 7, and you can see we've got 1.1 laps of fuel, and I was really debating on whether or not to pit for fresh tyres. As you can hear, me and Cornelius really just back and forth. I could save enough fuel. I just really didn't want to stay on the mediums for as long as I could. An extra lap on the softs is going to be one less lap on the mediums, regardless of whether I have to fuel save. It is going to be quicker. So, you know, I get to the point of no return, which is here. This is where I have to commit, and you can see I'm just taking no chances, keeping it in lean 4, lean 5. So coming on to the end, you can see we've got 0.2 laps of fuel, and yeah, I was really crawling across the line to the pit lane. Frame made a bit of a mistake. You can see we hit a 1 second penalty as well. Not ideal. GT Sport penalty system as always. Onto the mediums to take our handicap, and you can see me and Cornelius really driving it into the pit lane very carefully. Tritt up to P4, Frame still in P3 after he made a bit of a mistake and fell about 10 seconds back. So quite a bit of pressure alleviated off our shoulders there. So filling up does take quite a while in this game. So you're just sitting there doing nothing. You know, let's go. So we fill up for 5 laps, just enough to what we need, and we gap Willis a little bit. Got caught out a bit by the auto drive because I thought it gave us a bit longer of auto drive, but onto the grass, bit of dirty tyres, so it's going to be alright. So me and Willis sort of just single file for the entire stint, but you can see we just said we got the gap, we might as well put a bit of a show on. So he is in the slipstream of us coming into 130R. He is in the slipstream. Is he going to be close enough for a look? Doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it. Pontus up into 4th place, as you can hear, and Cornelius goes really deep on the brakes and he goes wide at 130R, so he completely backs out of it. Does not want to take any chances. If he kept the foot in, he had a chance of spinning. Dirty tyres as well means he goes wide into the first chicane, so a little bit of breathing room for us coming on to the final, what is this going to be, 3 laps, and we get massive tank slapper on the exit, nearly put ourselves into the pit lane, which would have been less than ideal. But coming on to lap 11, Cornelius has closed back up and he's going to have a little look into Spoon. Doesn't think much of it though, so we're going to defend, keep the position. We're going to stay quite tight into Spoon, into the second apex of Spoon. Keep him behind, but he gets a really good run as we get a bit of a tank slapper. He's in the slipstream, looking at us, coming into 131 at 130R, and he's going to look. Is he going to go for it? He's not quite close enough in the slipstream. If he's at this point, I'm just going to turn in on him. So he's not quite getting the run in the slipstream as he wants, so he's going to back off into 130R, thinks better of it, so we turn in normally, and we actually go really wide, so just completely lift off the throttle and come back onto the track. So side by side with him coming into the chicane, just going to, you know, take the apex, take the corner, and that is ours to keep for now. He's got a good run on us into the pit straight, so we're just going to completely dart to the inside and white line it. Don't want to take any chances, so we're going to dart to the inside, white line it, don't give him an inch. As soon as he pulls to the outside, we're going to go with him to make sure we can open up the corner as much as we can and prevent a cutback from Cornelius. So coming into the first corner, really long, he doesn't quite get the cutback he needed. We try and cut it off, but we go a little bit deep, and he's going to have a little run into the S. He's got a tank slapper as well, which just helps him into the first S. He's going to look around the outside. No, he does think better of it, and we take our normal race line. He's all over the back of us for now. Is he going to be able to make a move? We've got a lap and a half left of this first race. Nothing really eventful happening until this last lap, so looking out for Willis. He is really close, just needs to make sure I can maximise the exits and make sure he can't drive up the inside of us into any other corner. But yeah, so far we're doing a pretty good job of defending him. Just trying to put him off there in the party chat, you're getting a bit annoyed. Just trying to play some mental games with him. Just a bit of fun. But
I'm going to hit this apex.
That is not a very good apex to hit. Just again taking the mick out of him as just trying to annoy him. Seemed to work though, because he's now a second behind us coming onto the final lap. So I just said, you know, if you don't catch up to me into the chicane, let's just do a 360 across the line. Because why not? We had the gap to throw him. Might as well, you know, showboat a little bit. Just have a bit of fun. But you can see we cut the chicane here, and to my knowledge, this is going to be a 1 second penalty. So my heart sunk. Absolutely, I was like, oh, he might win this, so I back off early and get the 1 second penalty gone, but he's also got one himself, so it's all good. So we just flick it across, do a little spin across the line, and we win the first race. Pole led every lap, and the fastest lap as well. Pretty good for the first race, if I do say so myself. Cut to the next race. So just before the start of the second race, we go to start the race, and there was actually quite a couple of disconnections. So we actually get a pretty decent start for the first restart, making up a couple of positions. Coming into Degna 1, we just get smacked into by a rogue frame, and the second one we just had lobby issues. So we finally got started though. So this is going to be the next race. Lovely sound effects there by Willis, of course. So yeah, into the second race, reverse grid obviously, so we are going to be starting in P12 for this race. It's going to be fun. I do like the reverse grid races because you just come through the fields, it's really ding dong battles, and
I'm in the zone again.
really good races. So I do like it. So onto the grid, we've got a nice lovely view of everyone in front of me, but we go to the lights, traction control on. Pretty good initial launch, this lights out, and we bog from sort of second gear. Don't really get the run we want, but obviously at the back you just want to bide your time, and you know, people in front are going to drive into each other. We look to the inside of Cornelius, but that's just a closing gap, so we back out of it, think better of it, and we're going to go to the outside, opt for the outside for this start. Just thinking everyone's going to get pinched. As you can see, Cornelius pinched on the inside there, same with Juho Finn, so we're going to get a run on both of them around the outside. So that was pretty good car placement, managing to get the car placed and not get sent into the shadow realm on the first lap. You can see there's a couple of battles up in front, so we're just going to try and make dividends of this. Saving fuel already, just while I cut through the field. Yeah, so Boomer on the inside goes to the gravel, so we're just going to cut around the outside of him, get the power down, get a good run into Dunlop. He gets a bit of a tank slapper, so we're going to be up the inside of him and just behind Frome. This is crucial we get past him because he is quite quick, so we need to either stay with him or try and get past him quite quickly. Boomer sending himself to the shadow realm, luckily managing to retrieve himself back to this dimension. But yeah, coming into Degna 2 again, just trying to keep it cautious, get the most out of everyone making their kerfuffle. As you can see, Simo and the Swede of Pontus there, his first GT Sport League race, so we're going to make dividends to this. Slow gets a slow run, so we're going to send it around the outside of him and Simo and Pontus. We're going to turn in late, they all get pinched on the inside, but Pontus gets ahead, but we're going to go around the outside of Simo, and that's up 2 places. We're going to be 3 on the exit. I believe Cornelius as well is trying to make dividends of this as well, trying to follow us through. That really was the plan, him just follow us through there. And he's opening a couple of laps. Pontus looking on the move on Grumpy, coming into Spoon. It's not really going to be on. He looks to the inside. He's going to dive up the inside. Grumpy's turning in. He barges his way through. This is going to be Grumpy on the outside on the AstroTurf. He tries to save the slide. It just doesn't happen, and he snaps back and he's off the track, and that is just really unfortunate. Pontus on the inside. Bit of a late move, to be honest, but needless to say, it was a free position for us, so I wasn't complaining. Got a feel for Grumpy though. He is a nice guy and just gets caught up in other people's incidents, which is unfortunate. But you know, when he does have a battle, it is a really good one. So coming through 130R for the first lap, you know, P12 to P6, I would count that as a really successful start. We're only a couple of seconds off the lead as well. So just trying to follow Pontus and get past him. He is going to be quite tricky to get past. This is surprisingly his first GT Sport League race, and I wasn't honest. I was really impressed with him. A couple of things he could work on, like racecraft and etiquette, really. But other than that, honestly, he drove a really good race and he had pretty good pace. So really impressed with him, and obviously he's going to be one to watch as he improves. Up ahead, we got Cablo going really wide on the AstroTurf, and you really lose out. He's lucky he didn't spin. This is going to let Pontus and myself through as he gets caught on the inside there. I swear in like Sweden and Denmark they... So just trying to follow Pontus and get through. We got Trit and Pornage having a little bit of a ding-dong battle up in front, obviously holding themselves up for me and Pontus to catch up. I knew I was quicker than Pontus at this stage in the race, so I did want to get through. Again, me, Tritton, Frome, Cornelius, and I believe that's it. We all have to use the medium tyres at a stage or stint in the race. to sort of level the playing field out. So I knew if I was quicker than him, I needed to get through and make sure I get ahead for the medium tyres. Pontus going really wide, coming out of Degner 2, so he hits the wall, and this is going to allow me and Pontus wide. Pontus a little bit shaken, so we are going to dart to the inside. He moves a little bit on the brake and aiming himself at the apex, but we sort of put the car there, make the space, and that is us up into P3. He is still in the tow though, and he's going to be looking very feisty. Did not want to give this place up whatsoever, even though we could have caught Trit up really easily, but he did not want to give this podium place up. In the slipstream, he's going to push us. Coming into Spoon, is he going to have a look and replicate the move he made on Grumpy? No, because we dart to the inside very late, get the car turned in, park it on the apex to prevent a cutback. He is getting quite frustrated. Behind us, really pushing us through the corner. We're going to just try and park it and get away. At this point, I was just like, come on, man, let's go and get Trit. But, you know, fair enough if he wanted to keep the P3 position.
I don't know.
Fair play to him. So, we're going to keep to the inside. He just drives himself off the track there onto the grass. Bit confusing. So, we try and take the race on again, but he is still there, so we have to give him the space. Not that mean. Coming through 130R, we do get a bit of a gap to him, but he is in the slipstream, gets a better exit coming into the bus stop chicane, so we are going to defend coming in, and he's not quite close enough to get the run on us, but perhaps into the pit straight and maybe into turn 1. It's not going to be too amazing. We get a 1 second penalty. So we are pulling a little bit of a gap to him now. We're away, but he in the slipstream. Will is not too happy there. But coming into the first corner, we go to the inside to defend. It's not going to look too pretty if he stays on the outside. He tries it, but he just runs out of talent and a bit of grip and goes onto the Astro there. Well held and didn't lose the car too much. And he actually gets quite a run on us coming out.
If he overtakes me, it's just a bit dodgy, to be honest. We're just gonna...
Yeah, a bit dodgy. You know, he's just driven himself off track and got a really good exit. But luckily, we managed to keep him behind. So a couple of laps later, we managed to pull a gap to Pontus, and Blue Mosquito is disconnected. You can see he just drives off the track, and that's a free position up into second place. So yeah, a lap later, coming into turn 1, just before, a couple of laps before we pit, we go in, and we go in too hot, and we just went straight, and the car just went sideways, fully 90-degree angle, and we managed to bring it back. Luckily, it didn't go onto the grass there, but we lose the places to Pontus and Frome. Coming into the pits, they're going to have a bit of battle. We decide not to go for an extra lap to lap 8 because I just thought I'm going to lose too much time. I'll gain the time in the pit lane by having the extra fuel than the other people around me. So coming into the pit lane, Trit, Pontus, Frome and myself all come into the pits and put the medium tyres on. Pontus obviously doesn't have to. So we've got 6 laps left in this race, so we're going to fill up for 6 laps. We come at the pits, we remember that we need to drive this time, and we look behind and I'm like, where's Pontus? He's actually fueled the car up way too much than he needed to. So me and Frome have got a little bit of breathing space, and I'm going to be right on the back of Frome for these coming out of the pits. And Trit is 4.5 seconds ahead, about 4 seconds ahead. So I'm really just wanting to get in front of Frome and push after Trit, because I knew I could catch him if I just had a bit of clear air. So pushing Frome through the S's, really close to him, did not want to let him get away, nor did I want Pontus to catch up. I really needed that car between himself and I to just go, because that soft tyre is about 1.5 to 2 seconds a lap faster than the medium tyre. So he is really quick himself. So if he's on the soft tyre, he's going to be probably about 3 seconds quicker than us. Which is just a shame, but Frome goes really wide coming out of Digna 1, and this is going to give him a compromised run coming into the hairpin. We looks in the slipstream, darts to the inside, but he's just, yeah, a bit of unfortunate, moved a bit too late and couldn't get the run, so we lose that run. Coming into the hairpin, braking quite late, he's going to defend to the inside. We looked for the cutback, but he gets it parked on the apex really nicely, get the power down as nice as we could in the slipstream. This is now really crucial we get this move done into Spoon or wherever. He's going to look to defend the inside, so we're just going to stick in the slipstream, see if he's going to take the race line or not. We're going to look to the move into Spoon. Are we going to send it? No, we're a bit too far back, bit stupid to go for a move there. Coming through Spoon, obviously the very famous double apex left hand corner here at Suzuka. We're in the toe of Frome. Coming into 130R, we get a bit of a tank slapper on the exit, really less than ideal, but coming into 130R we are in the slipstream of Frome. And are we close enough to go for a move perhaps into 130R? We're a bit far back, it's going to be really audacious, so we just sit back, brake, get a good exit, but he's going to go really wide all over the Astro and he gets a massive tank slapper, 90 degrees nearly around, and that's going to be us back into second place, free to catch Trit. So a couple of laps later, you can see after Tritt made a couple of mistakes, we have caught up to him quite significantly, and you can see, you know, just he is so annoying to get past Tritt. Such a good racer, and just knows where to put the car. Really, there's a lot I can learn from him. Obviously, Super 1 champion, he knows what he's doing. But yeah, he was just really annoying, parking the car exactly where he needed to park the car, and he knew where he needed to be quick to keep the position. It's coming through 130R. He is going to look to the inside, go back to the racing line, so there's nothing really much I can do on this particular occasion. So just trying to keep, you know, right up in, and, you know, making sure we can get a good run where we can. Pontus has now got in front of Frome in their little tussle. They had a bit of a tussle back there, but they're about 3 seconds now, so I just know it's a matter of if, it's a matter of when, not if Pontus catches up. He's on the soft tyre, and I just needed to get in front of Tritt so I could not only pull away and not hold ourselves up, but also just have that one car in between us, so I knew I could just have that bit of a breather, bit of a gap to Pontus behind. You can see Tritt gets a bit of a tank slapper. We look to the inside, that wasn't really on, he was just going to hold his line there. Coming through the S's, goes a little bit deep, trying to set back a double, triple, quadruple cutback, whatever you want to call it. But he's just parking his car really, really nicely, and I just can't find a gap way through. So he does try and park it on the apex. I try and get the power around the outside like I did, I believe, on Boomer earlier in the race, but it's just not on, especially with Tritt. He is really ruthless with where he puts his car on the outside. He's on the inside, it's his corner, which is fair enough. It's how his philosophy is, and how I'm going to try and learn to be. You know, you just got to be ruthless with the outside. Like, you just can't let him around the outside. It's a stupid thing to do. We get a really good run through Degner 1 though. Coming through Degner 2, can't quite keep with him. We get a better exit though in this toe. Are we going to look to the inside, coming into the hairpin? He is going to defend it. We go to the inside, but he's just going to aim for himself at the apex, similar to what Pontus did, and does it a lot better. So we open up the corner and set up a cutback, and we get up the inside after a bit of contact, bit dodgy there. But he's got still quite a good run on us coming out the exit, so it's not going to be come to fruition there.
You can hold up Pontus for me.
And you can hear there, I really just want to get in front of him so he can hold up Pontus for me. But we're going to look to the inside of Tritt here into Spoon. Not going to happen though. He moves across and covers it off and parks it on the apex, so we can't get the cut back. Really getting desperate now. Really wanting to get past. Looking to the outside for the second part. It's never going to be on at all there. In the toe, coming into 130R, he darts straight to the inside, white lining it to the inside. He really wants this win, and I can tell because of how he's defending. He is really good at his defending and his attacking. He just knows where to put the car. Obviously been racing for about 10 years, raced in national championships and going into supercuts next year, so he is a very accomplished racing driver. So there is a lot I can learn from him. He goes to the inside, parks it in the middle very nicely. Nothing much I can do on this occasion. Coming through the bus stop chicane to start lap 12, the penultimate lap of this race, and so far it's been a pretty action-packed race from the start to now, to just Tritt really white lining it. So we try and keep him pinned to the inside for as long as we can. Look if there's a gap on the inside, perhaps. Doesn't quite happen, so we're going to pull out late to the outside. He's going to try and cover off the cutback, so I seize this opportunity to try and go around the outside of him. He gives us the space as he tried to cut off the cutback, which is going to get caught in the marbles, and he's just going to take the race line and keep that position. And I'm looking behind me to see Pontus has actually closed the gap to about a second now, and Frome he's brought in with him, so this is now going to be a four-way fight for the lead on the 2 penultimate laps. Just trying to keep Pontus behind me and get Tritt in front, and being in second, in my opinion, is one of the worst positions you can be in, because you've got to defend from the guy behind, while also you've got that pressure of getting in front, because if the guy behind thinks you're lacking behind and you're not going to get the position in front, he is just going to overtake you and have a go for himself. So he really needs to get that move done, otherwise you're just going to go overtaken by third, and then you have got 2 cars to overtake. So you know, being in third potentially is a better position to be in, because you know, if the top 2 get themselves confuffled, and you know, you can set up a nice cutback, as I tried to do here on Tritt. He goes in a little bit deep, does he? And he gets it a bit stopped, and doesn't really come to fruition there. A lot of kerfuffle at the back. Boomer going round, which is really unfortunate, because he was driving a fantastic race for Boomer, and you know, I really wanted to see him do well, but he's down in 7th place. We've got a good run on Tritt on the outside of Spoon though. This is never going to work, so I just brake and concede the position, go for a cutback, but he parks it really nicely on the apex there, and you can see Pontus is now on our radar, coming on to the final lap of this race, down this back straight into 130R. We've got a lap and a bit to go. Just checking our fuel, making sure we have enough to get to the end of the race. Trit straight to the inside to cover off the inside into 130R. We keep him pinned to the inside. We're going to pull to the outside. He comes with us. We go for a cutback, have to brake again to not hit him, and we're going to get a run on the outside of the bus stop chicane. Are we going to be able to brake late enough and go for it? We brake late. We go around the outside. 4 wheels alongside coming in, but Trit's just going to claim the corner as his, so we are forced to back out there, and hopefully Pontus doesn't get a run on us, but he has got a really nice exit there. Trit just claiming the corner through the chicane. Pontus, he's got to run, so we're going to defend to the inside. I'm like, Trit, please, just give me the toe. I need to keep this position. So Pontus on the outside, he's got a really good run, and I just didn't want to give him position, so I'm going to send it back up the inside and claim the corner as my own. He's going to keep it on the outside. I give him just enough space to not go into the Astro there. He's going to look on the outside again, but I'm just going to open the steering and make sure I can keep that corner as mine onto the final lap of this race. So Trit keeping his nerve and holding it really well. He is really good under pressure. He's just good all around, to be honest. Can't really fault him. Yeah, maybe quali pace, but you know, who needs quali pace when you're the quickest in the race? He is really holding his own really well here on the mediums against myself and Pontus and Frome. He's now got 3 cars lining up to try and overtake him, similar to me in FTRL ACC at Silverstone. He's doing a very good job of keeping us all behind here at Suzuka. So on the final lap, we've got about half a lap to go now, and Trit is, yeah, he's just holding his own and defending. We can't really get close enough on this occasion, just in the tow, trying to look behind to see where Pontus is and where Frome is, and we're going to look to the inside, get a bit of a tap, and just broke a bit late, and he give him a bit of a tap, and then obviously Pontus gives us a bit of a tap on the exit as also. So Trit keeping the position for now. He's got about what is it, 2, 3, 4 corners left to negotiate of this race, and he is a lead and going for his first N5 win, and the first of the season. Of course, I want to make it 2-2 with the pole, the win, a fastest lap, and obviously both wins of both races. But Pontus will go a little bit deep, and he's going to send up the inside for the second part of Spoon, and he's just got me, and Trit's offering to give me the toe to keep the position, but Pontus has got me. We look to the inside, he comes back across. We look to the outside, he comes back across. I'm thinking, you know, what's he doing? I don't know which way he's going. And we're under pressure from Frome. I really did not want to fall off the podium, so coming into 130R, we try and make sure we maximise our exit speed. Trit's going to defend to the inside. Pontus goes with him. He's going to go for it around the outside, braking really late. Trit on the inside, he's going to go off the track, and Trit just claims the corner as his own, but Pontus drives onto the track, T-bones him, and we're going to get an audacious cutback on all 3 of them. Frome gets caught up as well, so this is going to be us from 3rd to 1st across the line to win the second race here at M5, and Trit is understandably very frustrated with Pontus there. Frome couldn't get the cutback he needed and follow us 3 to win, so it's going to be myself, Pontus, Trit and Frome. Obviously the top 5 will finish within 1.2 seconds. We're just going to have a quick look at that again, because, you know, Trit did similar to what he did on me, and just sort of claimed the corner as his own, and you know, Pontus was off the track on the outside and just really had no space to be there. Obviously it's the first race, so he's going to learn. Yeah, Trit just claimed that corner and Pontus just comes back at him. I get a nice cutback with 3 wide on the exit. Frome just had nowhere to go, so he's going to finish in P4. But 2 wins, a pole and a fastest lap is maximum points we can get. So I do hope you have enjoyed, guys. Thank you for watching. If you have made it this far, please do consider liking and subscribing if you did enjoy, and yeah, make sure to like for more content like this. Leave below anything you'd like to see on the channel, such as driving school series, which I'm in the process of making, coming out on Friday, lap guides, or just anything really. Just let me know, and yeah, if you enjoyed, please do like, subscribe and share the video if you have enjoyed, guys. Thank you. Peace.